Hi everyone, this is Sherry Bell Raywald, and before we get started with today's Step Up episode, I want to thank our very cool sponsor, Event Espresso. Event Espresso is an event registration and management plugin for WordPress. It will turn your WordPress site into an effective event management tool. So check out Event Espresso at eventespresso.com. Look at the demo, check out the features between the free and premium version, and see which one is right for you. Event Espresso, our wonderful sponsor, thank you so much. And let's get to this episode of Step Up. Hi everyone, this is Sherry Bell Raywald, your host of this episode of Step Up, the video interview program in which I interview business peeps who are moving their companies forward step by step. That means they have lots of tips and tools to share with us to move our companies forward as well. Today's guest is Scott Cowley, an SEO manager at SEO.com. Scott is going to share with us his tips and tools for not only planning an effective contest, but evaluating that contest and keeping that engagement going. And yes, I even got Scott to share his tips for how he wins so many contests. So welcome to this episode of Step Up, Scott. We can't wait to hear your tips. So my guest today is Scott Cowley, who is an SEO manager with SEO.com here in Salt Lake City, Utah. And he is going to tell us the ins and outs of online contests. Now, Scott has won a lot of contests. I know from talking with him earlier that he has entered at least 100 contests, and he has some very strategic ways he does that via SEO, and he's going to tell us those things. But Scott, the reason that I'm interviewing you today is not only because you win so many contests, but that you recently had your own personal contest, a Christmas sort of give back contest to your social media community, and it was based on a $5 package of bacon, and you got, I wrote it down here, you got 145 tweets and 68 comments all in 2 days. So you intrigue me. I want to know how you did it. But first up, let's just get you to tell us what you do for SEO.com, specific to SEO, because I know it's huge. What, really, if I came to you, what is it you would be able to do for me?
So I work for SEO.com as an SEO manager. And what that means is I am responsible for a couple of dozen different websites that companies own that they want to show up better in search engines, because showing up at the top of Google when you type for something can mean a lot of money for a lot of businesses. So what I do is, I help identify which keywords are going to be best for the client. I help identify what needs to change on a website in order to be optimized for those keywords. And then we work on building up the critical website through off-page optimization, which is building links from other websites to the website, and all of that combined helps clients move up the rankings and eventually get really good revenue and returns because they're more visible.
Okay, so for me, you and I were talking earlier, and you suggested that I, as a small business owner, and anyone who's watching this video, we can pretty much learn what we need to learn for on-page SEO, I think is what you called it. So the book that you recommended, tell me that again.
Sure. So the book I recommend is called Search Engine Optimization: A Visual Blueprint by Christopher Jones, and that's Christopher with a K. That's not what I learned on personally. I read SEO for Dummies. I'm sure a lot of people who are trying to learn SEO for the first time and feel like dummies, they're going to pick that up.
Yeah.
That's very digestible, and it was good for me. It was a great foundation. But I have seen a lot of entry-level SEO books since then, and I really like Chris's book as a way of both presenting the how-to, but also showing you visually what things are supposed to look like, what certain code is supposed to look like if you're going to make your website optimized. So that's kind of the one I've been recommending lately. Who knows? It could always change in the future.
Okay. All right. So if we jump right into contests, let's. Why don't we do this? You tell me if this would work. Let's look at what you did for your Christmas bacon giveaway, and sort of dissect that, and sort of help me understand how to put out a great contest. Now, I'm sure you learned a lot of lessons. Like, you only held yours for 2 days. So
bacon has a short shelf life, right? So
yeah. You're so funny. I love you.
People are going to want a month-old package of bacon. So Yeah, let me just let me walk you through, I guess,
Okay.
how it worked, why it worked for me, and why, you got to pick something that you're going to get excited about giving away. I think that's probably the biggest thing that I realized. If a company were to give away a package of bacon, I don't know if they would have the same type of reaction, or if people would embrace it like I was fortunate to see. Really, what I guess there were three things, or three parts to what I did with the bacon contest. And keep in mind, I've never run a contest before. I just wanted to do it. I thought it'd be fun. I know people like bacon, so I thought, hey, let's give away some high quality bacon, right? Um, the planning part of the contest was to get as many people involved as possible in the planning of it. So I asked a lot of people for their opinions about ultimately, it seems like a small thing, but the more people you bring in the planning stages and giving you feedback, especially if you take that feedback, those are people who are going to be that much more excited when you actually kick it off. Getting people hyped up in advance, and getting their feedback is just going to make them much more willing to help promote you when you actually do it. So I got some feedback. I ended up picking out a $5 package of bacon. It was on sale, normally $6, so it was good for me. I planned out all of the logistics as far as the contest rules. That's very important to make sure that you don't miss anything. You want to figure out how long the contest is going to run for, how you enter, how the winner is going to be selected, if there are going to be more chances for entry by doing other things. You just want to try and prevent any weird loopholes for people to game the system. You want to prevent people from, getting at each other's throats over your bacon. I didn't expect that was going to happen, but it's always a risk, just depending upon what you offer. You want to make it something that people are going to feel good about you and what you're doing. So I figured out all the logistics. I decided that if the person, anyone could enter, I wanted to make sure that it was open to everyone, even though I have this package of bacon, and that if the person was out of state, I was just going to send them money for bacon instead of, the actual bacon, right? Pretty basic. So we built a blog post around the contest. I think that's really key, is making sure it's not just sitting out in the nether realms as a contest, but there's actually some text down on paper that people can refer to, that they can link to, they can share. I think one of the most helpful things was that I tried to put up some media around the contest. I took some pictures of the bacon, tried to make it look sexy. I did a video with the bacon and had the Barry White song in the background. It just it's anything to make your prize look like it's the thing to have, right? So that was really helpful, and I definitely recommend getting some additional media. Make sure you've got pictures. If you can do video, do it. I did that on my little point and shoot camera. That it was low quality, but I used Windows Movie Maker to just splice a song track in, along with the video. It ended up, it was low quality, but it was fantastic. People loved it. Once the contest got going, so the contest, all you had to do was just tweet about contest, and you got an entry, right? If you want an extra entry, you could comment on the blog post. So and in the comment of the blog post, I think this was something that ended up being huge for the promotion of the contest. Is the stipulation for the comment was that you had to comment in your comment, you had to talk about two other people that you would theoretically share your bacon with because they're so awesome, right? So then once they put that down, I then went and told those people that they had been deemed cool enough to share bacon with, and it just got that much more excitement and brought more visibility to some people that wouldn't have heard about it otherwise. They got excited about it. I think that's a really good thing that I will make sure to do on future contests, is make sure that if there is a comment requirement, that there's some way for me to take those comments and do something with them, right? Whether that be tell more people about the contest. I think that's probably the best one. or something else that I can learn, or something else that I can repackage, right? So that I can re-promote the contest. So the contest ran for a couple of days. The other thing I did is I told people about the contest. I told a lot of people behind the scenes. I followed up with the people whose help I had had. I even mentioned them in the post and thanked them, the people that gave me feedback. I sent them messages. I messaged other people I knew would think it was funny and enter, with no problem. You just have a network of friends that you can rely on for things like that, and it ended up being really fun and got a lot of people excited about it. So as a result, contest ended. I filmed kind of the announcement rather than just saying, "Oh, so and so won." I filmed a video announcement of it, so that people would come to the blog and have to watch the video rather than just seeing, "Oh, there's the name, move on." But that was a way to get more traffic to the blog. Incidentally, ended up being a girl from San Francisco, so I was just going to send her the money. So I actually did the video while I was cooking up the bacon, so people could see that. And the cool thing was that she actually came out for Christmas and was in town, and so we thought, well, heck, let's get everyone together and eat bacon and present this. I bought some new bacon and gave it to her, and so
It was the same old
we
bacon in your refrigerator.
no, she got a better bacon for sure. And then we got together for breakfast. It was a lot of fun, and that was another way to re-promote is, even if you lost, hey, come join us for breakfast. Let's have let's have bacon anyway. So you don't just have to stick and feel like you're confined to just the contest. You can, turn it into, transition it into events, more blog posts, more videos, pictures. I mean, you can do pretty much anything you want with it. I mean, she sent me pictures of when she was cooking the bacon. I need to do something with those and get those
put
up
that on your
on the
blog,
site.
yeah.
So, but overall, I mean, it was something so basic, and yet because I was willing to get behind it with enthusiasm, 100%, and kind of played the cards right, it ended up being a lot of fun. And the weird thing that came out of it is that now all of a sudden I'm like the bacon guy. Right? Bacon gets mentioned around me a lot, and they're like, "Oh, we should have some bacon with that, right, Scott?" And
Right.
and the funny thing is I never liked bacon. I'm not a huge bacon person, honestly. I just knew people like bacon, but now it's kind of it can be a branding ploy for you too, just depending upon what you give away. So
Right.
take that into consideration when you're deciding what the prize is going to be, because it will have other repercussions on your image, right?
Right.
So,
Right. Okay, so
but
I want to look at specific things about your contest, but my first question to you is a lot of people, I guess, especially if it's a personal contest, you're afraid no one's going to comment, and then if you're a business and you actually run a contest and nobody comments, that's really embarrassing. So, how did you get over that fear? Is it because you're like, you know what, I'm just going to work it and I'm going to just keep telling people and keep driving the traffic, or was it only 2 days and you're like, if I don't get any comments, it's just going to be a small blip and no one's going to notice? Let's give us some tips. Like if a business puts their name on the line and says, okay, we're going to do this, how can we not embarrass ourselves? What can they do? What are your 3 tips for? Is it the time? Is it the giveaway? Is it the back of the scene stuff?
okay, so if I have to give like the key takeaways, the key tips is, first of all, make sure you give away something that people actually want.
Okay.
I see a lot of contests that give away a prize that nobody's interested in. Tech products, electronics are always going to be popular. If it's something other than tech, or you just kind of have to expect that the response is going to be in proportion to the value of and the demand for the product you give away. So, you can do all the promotion in the world, and if it's for something very low end, that people could just go out and buy themselves anyway,
Mm-hmm.
then you can't pin high expectations to something like that. So make sure you're giving something that people want, or that really really connects with your audience, and will be in high demand, right? So that would be one thing. Using the contest rules to fuel the contest promotion is huge. I think that's got to be number two is make sure that whatever you're requiring people to do helps get the word out about your own contest, right? Whether that be Zag protects electronic screens. They make shield protectors, and what they did is required people to either tweet about the contest or post that they had entered on their Facebook page. So that means all the other Facebook fans are gonna or friends are gonna see that. But things that perpetuate the promotion cycle are critical to getting the that a company is looking for. I think those are probably the biggest ones, and then I'd say the third is just do what you say you're going to do. So make sure that you have all of the details to the contest, so there's not a lot of ambiguity. People, people want to know exactly how the contest works. They want to have a complete understanding that, okay, this is how long it's going to go. This is when it's going to be announced. This is when we're going to know. This is how I can improve my chance. And too often, companies will leave out some information, make it ambiguous, or make it difficult for people to really know what to expect. And then it kind of dies a slow, painful death that way. So hopefully that helps.
Okay, but let's talk about that Zag. You're talking about their 12 Days of Christmas giveaway that they had?
They did. So that's one thing that Zag had going for them is they gave away huge high-end products, starting with the 12 Days of Christmas. I don't remember every day. I mean, they were giving, once they got to day 4, they gave away like four $400 Best Buy gift cards. I mean, that's not cheap, right? They at the end of it, they gave away like an Apple computer worth a couple $1,000s. So you had lots and lots of. I mean, that added thousands, probably tens of thousands of entries just in those 12 days because the prizes were huge and it was all random, and a lot of people like the fact that they could win at random. I don't like that myself. I like to have a little bit more say in whether I can win or not. But then also the promotion, the re-promotion, just based on how you had to repost it or retweet it to enter, I think helped them a huge deal. I mean, more than anything was the fact that they were giving away multiple items. Maybe people were thinking psychologically that they had a better chance of winning, right? Because, I've got, 4 of these that I could possibly win, when really that just increased the number of participants, made it that much more difficult.
Okay. Now, I know I myself entered the Zag contest at least 3 days, and there were at least 12, I guess, 12 days of Christmas. So my question is, since that contest, though, I've heard zip from Zag. I mean, they have not sent me an email. I haven't been touched by them since that. So what did it actually gain them for me, or for anyone who did not win? I mean, the people that won are probably like raving maniacal fans for them for life, but for those of us who didn't, what should Zag be doing now? Like, if any business wants to continue that engagement or actually have it mean something, what's the next step?
Right. Well, I think that's a great point, Sherry. When you decide to run a contest, and when part of your requirements is for people to follow you, whether it be a fan or a Twitter follower or whatever, that's your window of opportunity, right? So you have a captive audience. You stipulate that they have to stay following you until the end of the contest in order to win. That's your window of opportunity. That's when you should be putting out your best stuff. You should have some really good blog posts queued up for that period. You should be putting out some really engaging content. And I think, especially for a small business owner or a blogger, your mentality is just keep this contest running. You get sidetracked and forget that, hey, they're listening. What else am I doing to keep them even after the contest ends, right? So I would advise someone to have some stuff queued up, have some stuff prepped and ready in the wings, so that they might have entered, they know nothing about your company, but all of a sudden they start seeing some stuff that is really high quality, and they're motivated to continue even after the fact, stay friends. I know that Zag has probably lost a few followers since the contest, but by and large, I think they still retained most of those because they keep doing some giveaways, and they do have a product that applies to a lot of different people as well. A couple weeks ago, I won a Zag shield just through a Twitter contest they had. So now I'm a fan, right? Because I won, and I'll stay following them. So it's a great point.
Okay. So before we talk about your SEO that you used for your contest, give me your thoughts on the platforms. So you chose to do yours on Twitter, right? Okay. Instead of, you don't have a Facebook fan page, business page. Okay. So
Sure.
that was out for you. What do you think about a contest that actually has an email opt-in so that you are then you have permission to continue to touch those people and to send them blog posts and stuff like that? Because the problem for me is, like, I will become someone's fan of their fan page, but then I might never check their page again and I completely forget that they're there. Whereas if they have my email and I see their name enough times, like there's that saying that you must touch someone, you know what I mean, 7 to 12 times before they will like you, know you, trust you, buy from you. So do you have any tips on which platform, or should every contest have an email opt-in?
I certainly, I think it's different for every company on whether you are going to be able to make, if you already have a really good email marketing system going, by all means, and if that's one of your strengths, use that. But if you are just trying to think, oh, how am I going to retain people longer, and you don't have an email system in place, and you want to start that up at the same time you're starting your contest, unless you're lucky, you're probably not going to be that successful. I think most people are already accustomed and familiar to the idea of entering either through Twitter or Facebook or through a blog. I think that's really common. Even YouTube, through YouTube comments can be really common. And I'm not saying that email is a bad idea. I'm just saying, make sure that that's a strength and that it's something where you're going to be able to put out some quality content. I think most people do Twitter and Facebook contests because the expectations are so low, right? What I'm tweeting or what I'm posting, it's always going to be short. Whereas if I'm sending out a newsletter, that all of a sudden takes a much bigger piece of significance. Or if I'm putting some promotion out there on through email, the expectation's a lot higher that's going to have some substance to it and be valuable. So I think it's one of those things where it just depends on what you're already set up with.
Okay. So I'm looking at your contest title. Was it Christmas? What was it? I've lost it. Oh, the Ultimate Bacon Contest. And then the keyword tags that you used were bacon, Barry White, contest, social media, and Twitter. So tell us why you chose those. Because there's that whole debate now on how long your keyword phrase needs to be versus a single word. Tell me why you chose those tags and what was your strategy for that?
Okay, so from an SEO perspective, depending upon how long, you have to kind of recognize that SEO is a little bit longer term strategy for marketing than, and may not apply to promotions. From my perspective, I thought about doing SEO for my contest, but it honestly didn't greatly impact the amount of participation. I'll tell you why. So really, it's a 2-day contest. If depending upon what you put in your title or in your content, it may not get picked up by search engines till after the contest is even over. And you also have to recognize that the only people that are going to be impacted by you showing up in search engines are people who are searching for contests, right? They're used to trying to game the system. That's what they do. So it may not even be the type of people that you even want to attract. What I do think is better to know about SEO as it relates to social media optimization. One thing it's good to understand is how Facebook works, and the concept that if you post something, that is going to become more visible in other people's streams and timelines if that piece of content has more likes and more comments on it. So so you can think about a few different ways. For example, as I'm entering a contest right now and trying to get people to vote up some of my stuff so I can win something. Um, so I'm going to get so my plan is to get people to post about and help me win the contest on their Facebook walls. But not only that, but to leave comments and likes on different people's posts who have posted to help me, just to keep that up at the top. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So strategically, that's probably a bigger thing where SEO or search engine optimization, even Facebook's a search engine really. The way it displays things is an algorithm. So there are things to learn from that. But if you do want to kind of get a little bit more visibility, make sure you have things that are words that are common with contests. So you want to have contest, you want to have giveaway, you want to make sure the date's in there, you want to make sure you've got what you're giving away. Words like win and prize, they're all good to have as far as you know, effectively reaching a search engine market if you're sticking around that long. So if it's going to be anything longer than a few days, then sure you can look at something like that.
Okay, so what do you
I mean,
think?
my
Go ahead.
I was just going to say my contest is very well optimized for the term bacon contest, but how many people do you have searching for bacon contest?
And why did you throw
Nobody. So it's kind of on issue.
why did you throw Barry White in there? What was that connection?
That has very little to do with SEO as much as it is to remind people that the bacon was sexy. So I wanted to make the Barry White connection mentally.
Okay. So, I just got an email from a local luxury car dealership in town, and they were giving away, I think it was football tickets and ground transportation to the event. And what you had to do was send them a video or some sort of blog post on why you liked them so much, and then you got more points for how many people liked your comment on Facebook or added a comment. So you suggest that route based on what you were saying earlier.
Yeah, I think that's one way to definitely as far as winning that type of contest. I think that can help. You're talking about Mini Cooper, right?
Yes.
And tickets to the Super Bowl, right?
Yes.
So that's a huge, big ticket item right there. It's a great prize. You know that tons of people are going to want it. As I looked through some of the requirements for that contest, I noticed that it's confusing as far as what you're being asked to do and exactly how it works and how you can win. I think you have to show up to an event just to see if you won. So the people who are going to really go for something like that are the people who are going to be willing to travel for it, and you have to recognize that you're going to get fewer entrants because of that limitation, even while you might be pulling more entrants for the huge big tickets, Super Bowl tickets, right? So every element to your contest is either going to get more people or push people away. That's kind of how you have to look at it.
Right, and that's exactly why I did not enter that contest, was because I'm like, oh, I don't think I'm going to go there, because then I'll want to look at a car, and then I might try to want to buy a car that I really shouldn't be buying at this point. It's like, I understand the psychology of why they did it, but I thought the contest, in my mind, wasn't successful because it didn't motivate me to actually engage with them and to visit. So tell me, because you and I were talking earlier, because you've entered so many contests, what is it like within 5 seconds probably you can determine if a contest you're not doing it? What are some major turnoffs that you just hate about contests now?
Honestly, I stay completely away from mom blog contests.
Okay.
Right? It's a gigantic. Well, first of all, it's a little weird for me entering a mom blog contest. The sheer number of women is just kind of makes it uncomfortable. I've kind of gotten over that fear, right? For the sake of winning, I'll push past my my awkwardness. But I avoid most of those. The competition's so high, you already can tell visually that there are 300 entrants. I'm not, if I want to win something and have the best chance, I'm not looking at a contest anything over 10 entrants, at least when I enter. Or I'll enter a contest with more entries if it's the type of contest where I have a little bit of control over whether I win or not. So, for example, if I have to write a creative comment on a blog post, well, then I feel like I've got a little bit better shot than the average person because I'm going to put a little bit more time, a little bit more creative effort into it. So, I might enter a contest that's got, 20 or 30 entries, right? So I'm steering clear away from things that either require me to do a ton of stuff or I know there's just going to be way too much competition. That's unfortunately, it means I leave a lot of contests on the table I don't enter, right? Just because the time it takes to enter is just not worth it. I've got better things to do.
Okay. And let's talk for a second about the contest that you're currently trying to win. Is that okay?
Yeah, by the time your video goes up and is over, it's the contest I'm entering for. I'm trying to win an iPod for my wife, and in this contest, basically, I think I was really good at the company. The company is called Milk Drinking Cow, and they make iPhone apps that superimpose an animal on a picture as you take it. So it's a photography app, and you just have to upload the picture taken with their app and try and get more people to like your picture on Facebook than anyone else's. So that's been going for a few days. The contest ends on Monday, and right now I'm in second place. Now, keep in mind, most of the time I'm not going to be entering something like that. I'll tell you how I found that contest, though. I was searching for contests, and sometimes it's helpful if you decide mentally what you want to win first and actually search for contests based on that. I thought, oh, I really would like to win an iPod Touch, so I went in search of iPod Touch contests. I found several of them. I found one of those where I thought, oh, well, the amount of competition, at least at that point, was pretty low. I thought I can do this, even though it's something out of the ordinary, what I usually do. It seemed like the type of thing I was willing to put some time and effort behind. So, right now the competition's playing dirty, and I've got to pull some stops and pull out the big guns. But so we'll see how it goes down. But we're going to have some mass mobilization to try and make it happen.
Okay, so that's really what I want to talk about is you have had a little bit of what's the word you would use with this other person that's also trying to win this same prize?
So, without going into too much detail, let's just say the contest was not necessarily set up in the best way. You've got some people that are going to put a lot of time and effort into trying to win and promote their contest, which means you are going to have some emotion, and unfortunately, it means that sometimes it can get unprofessional in the things that are said to both sides, and so that's one thing I recommend we stay away from when we're running contests is, try and picture the end from the beginning, right? What is this going to lead to? This might get you a lot of fans. Is this going to create enemies? Is this going to leave people with some bad feelings, and that's going to transfer to how they feel about your company? When they think of your company, they're going to think, oh, that was that company that ran the contest that, there were lots of hurt feelings about, right? So, it's something that you're going to have to deal with if you're running a competition that requires people to vote for each other, and there are going to be eventual losers, right? Usually, I think for a small business, you'd want to avoid the type of setup that's going to bring about negativity in that way.
But what is it that happened in this contest that allowed for that? How was it set up that you and this other person were having a little bit of a dialogue and she kind of went out of bounds with it? What was it that created that?
Oh, I don't think it's that important to dwell on it. It just came from the fact that, me and my side want to win, and her side want to win, and and things get posted trying to dissuade the other side to change votes. Then all of a sudden that's kind of where the line got crossed. And then when you start making personal attacks, like she started making some against me, calling me unethical, and that was sad for me. It's not the type of thing I want to have happen.
Mm-hmm. But my real question is there any way that the company could have set up the contest a little bit differently that would have prevented that? No?
Well, I think what ended up happening is a lot of the the negative comments got removed by the administrator, on the Facebook page. They could have avoided it up front just by laying some ground rules about what is and what isn't acceptable. Had they done that up front, I think we would have completely avoided this issue. We would have avoided some of the hate, speech that took place. It just would have been a much more positive outcome. So great point that that's something that could have been avoided just by having more rules up front about what is acceptable contest behavior.
Okay.
And what is.
It's like, like what blog comments are acceptable for a lot of blogs.
Right.
Okay.
Right. That's something I didn't even think to do on my own bacon contest, but it's something that I could have done, but I didn't think that it was going to cause too much malice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although bacon, I mean, you
you either love it or hate it. Yeah.
That's right.
So, do you have like if I say what is the worst contest you've ever seen, does something jump to mind?
Oh, it definitely does. Worst contest I've ever seen was definitely done by Dunkin' Donuts.
I was gonna say that one. Okay.
That's so awful. So Dunkin' Donuts, in order to win, and it was a very low, I think maybe a gift card or something, maybe like a $5 gift card. You had to go to their store. You had to take a picture of a poster or something with your camera. You had to text that to a phone number that they had. They would then email or send you back a trivia question. Then you had to find the answer to the trivia question, send it back to them, and then that entered you for a chance to be one of, one person to win
right,
per day. Like, just way overboard as far as expectations when compared with what you were entering. One other one does come to mind too, and that was just one that I saw recently where a lady was giving away a book. In order to have a chance to win that book, you had to go buy one of her other books and show her the proof of purchase for that.
Wow.
And to me that seems kind of ridiculous in terms of expectations. I think you should always couple your your prize with what you expect people to do. You don't want to make it too little, but at the same time you don't want to make it take too much for people to enter, or they won't.
Mm-hmm. Okay, did I tell you I was going to ask you to give us an assignment?
Oh yes, and this assignment is going to bring so much happiness and joy into your little heart that there's not much else for me to say. What your assignment is to give something away. Now, we've gone through a bunch of tips of do's and don'ts, but I think that's the best place to start. Pick something small, pick something fun, pick something that you can get behind, and do all of the prep work for it. Go through the motions of, planning it out, planning out your rules, putting up content to announce it, and then following through with your own promotion of the contest. Keep in mind that if you haven't done a contest before, this is going to be a fantastic learning experience for you to see what are you comfortable with as far as your level of excitement and promotion, how your particular audience is going to respond to a product, and also just to see what comes out of it for you. In the case of my bacon contest, it was great. I mean, it took a little bit of time, sure, but it helped in that I met a lot of new people. I got more, Twitter followers, which is something weird. I didn't expect to necessarily get that. I thought just my friends would enter. I ended up getting some links to my blog, which is going to help in SEO value. I ended up making people happy. I think, it's good to just have a solid reputation of being a fun, positive person. So, and to be a positive, fun company too. So that's your assignment. Pick something you want to give away, do the planning for it, give it away, make it fun, and then document what you did so that you can recreate the successes and forget the failures the next time you do it. So that's your challenge for this week. I'm anxious. I'm anxious to see it happen because I want to win more contests.
Okay, so I have to hold one, but so does anybody who's watching this video.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I would actually love it if they would comment on my blog. I'll post all this on my blog, and hopefully we'll get some comments of people that said, yes, I got something. But what if they say, I didn't get any comments? What do you suggest they do? It's okay, right, to tell people to say, why don't you come on over and look at my contest? It's okay to beg for people to come. They don't just have to find you. You can tell them about it, right?
Absolutely. I mean, one of the funniest things is business owners don't consider themselves marketers in many respects. That they're uncomfortable with self-promotion. If you're giving something away, there's not a lot of self-promotion to it. You are contributing. You are providing something that people can get excited about. I think the other thing I mentioned earlier about getting people involved in the planning process for your contest makes it that much easier. That's something that's very comfortable for someone to do, is just ask people's opinions on what they should do for their contest. So then when the contest kicks off, you already have a bunch of people that are invested in the success and outcome of the contest.
Great. Okay, now I did promise people that if they sat through this video that you would tell them your 3 big tips on how to win contests. And I've been trying to get you to write an ebook, Scott, and you refuse. So give us your top 3 tips here now so we can all start doing some competition.
I'm giving away the farm. This officially ends my contest winning days. It's it's a long time coming.
We're sorry.
That's right. Okay, so I'll tell you that I look for contests categorically. So I look for certain types of contests that I could win. I mentioned a little bit earlier the types of contests I look for. I look for low entry contests, right? So I know that generally speaking, contests held on blogs are going to be lower entry than contests held on company pages. So I will search for contest-related keywords, whether it be contest, giveaway, things like that, coupled with the date. So it's January right now. I'm only 2011 stuff. I don't want to find stuff from other days. I'm going to look specifically for contests on like Blogger, blogs, or Blogspot or WordPress, because those are all going to be blogs where people are generally speaking, they're starting out. They haven't invested enough money into their blogging in order to change it over to an actual domain name. Right. So that's something I just know from SEO. And so, if I search for contests there, then generally speaking, they're going to have fewer entries. I can also search specifically for low entry contests by searching for keywords related to the number of comments they have. I might search to find those specific keywords and the date and stuff, and then search for 2 comments or 3 comments in quotation marks. Those kind of combinations will bring back results of pages that have not been touched too much. So that's one way to go about it, is look for low entry contests, or look for contests with semi-low entries where you have a better chance of winning just by what you say, because it's not going to be drawn at random. They're going to pick the winner. And so if you are creative, if you're funny, if you do a longer response, those are all 3 factors that contribute to you being picked among a crowd. Some other stuff I look for are recurring contests. So one thing I noticed on Twitter is that there are a lot of companies that do a contest every Tuesday or every Wednesday or every Friday. So what I find I searches for those and just get them on my radar so that I know, okay, it's this day. I know I can go over here for a contest. And ultimately, it's kind of a numbers game where the more contests you enter, the more likelihood there's going to be for you winning at some point. So that's something I found to be pretty easy to do. And then the one where honestly I win the most contests are in speed contests where it's like trivia related and I've got to be the fastest person to post on Facebook, the fastest person to reply. All I'm doing there is I know how to use Twitter search operators, get familiar with those, and I know what kinds of things companies are posting to announce those types of contests so then I can easily search for just those types of speed contests, categorically speaking, and have a much better shot at winning them. If they come across my radar, I'm going to be really quick about responding to them. Those have really paid off recently. So that's kind of those are three of the biggest and easiest types of contests to win. I saw a contest recently where they wanted you to guess where this certain picture was taken, right? So it had a picture of some unusual landmark. You had to guess where it was taken. First person to comment and find the answer. Well, you use a website like tineye, tineye.com that does a reverse image search. All you do is just upload that image to TinEye, and it tells you where else that image is posted, and you find an easy answer that way. So just becoming familiar with some of the tools associated with different types of contests, and that's usually how I go about it. Well, the other thing that I will mention also, just to cap it off, is decide what you want to win, right? So in my case, I like to win books. I look specifically for book contests just because I really like to read. I really like to learn. So I'll look and type in specific keywords related to book contests. Find that often those tend to have fewer entries than your average electronic item. So it just depends. Sometimes you'll end up winning contests with really lousy prizes, and you'll just laugh about it, but you can, just keeping your eyes open and knowing what to look for is just as helpful as the entry itself.
Okay. So the last question, and I should have thrown this in earlier, is are there contest softwares that you would recommend for small businesses to use, or just manually put it together? I mean, I know there's a lot of free ones that you can use on Facebook, but there are also, I just made a note here, Wildfire, Contest Burner, and Artistic Hub are some that you actually have to pay for, but they can make it look really nice and they can make sure it runs well. But do you have a favorite? Have you tried any of those?
I've seen Wildfire used most frequently by companies at very low cost. You're talking a couple of dollars a day to run that, but they make it very easy in that they give you, forms to where you can easily, enter via Facebook through Wildfire. I honestly haven't played with a lot of contest apps. If you're talking bigger ticket contests where you really want to not only do good management of the contest, but also capture a lot of data for later use, I know that there are good companies out there that do that. Other software systems, Strutta, Strutta, is one that many companies use for some of those bigger ones where they not only want to run a good contest, but they want to capture a lot of information about the people that are entering.
My whole philosophy behind running a contest is keep it going. Don't just give something away. Don't buy your fans. Don't buy your followers. Continue with that engagement so that it becomes real, so that those people who are first stumble upon you and then maybe win something from you. And if they don't win something from you, give them another chance. Maybe it's just a free thing, but you know what? Thank you so
maybe
much.
it's a promotion.
Yes.
It's a discount. Right.
Yes, and I think a lot of times, I see contests and it's just, that's it, and then it drops the ball. Or someone will say, oh, we got, 6,000 new fans on our Facebook. Great, what have you done with them since?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, so it's, and I know you agree with this, social media is all about the connection and the conversation and keeping that conversation going. So if you're just going to have a contest just to prove, that, oh, I can get X number of followers in the next week or whatever, I don't see the value in that, because it doesn't really mean anything. It's taking that and continuing that conversation. So is there anything else that you would like to add before we close?
No, just make sure you plan contests that I can win.
Okay. Well, I'm going to do a Tooth Fairy book contest, since I've written a Tooth Fairy book, and you're about to have a Bambino. And I know you will win because, hey. Is there any other plug you want to give for SEO.com, that great company that you work for?
No, we do have a lot of small business solutions for SEO. So even some of the smallest companies, we've got some great SEO packages for. So you're welcome to contact me through Sherry, or just get on our website SEO.com, and we'd love to chat.
Well, thank you so much, Scott, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.
Thank you, Sherry.